And now we are going to start Stone Soup in Bohemia for grade 7. And this is a folk tale from Europe. What we are going to study in this chapter, some satire, wittiness of the soldiers of that era. Let's begin. In Europe, in the old days, soldiers returning from war used to roam around in the countryside. They depended partly upon the kindness of the populace and partly, as we shall see in this tale, upon their own sharp wits. 3 or 4 centuries ago in Bohemia, a soldier reached a small village. It was a drab, threadbare kind of a place. But he walked into the village square and unloaded his meager kit, a rough leather pack, a horsehair blanket, and an iron cauldron which he carried on his back like a hump. Stretching himself, loosening his coat, and taking his boots off, he settled down on the pavement for the night. Almost at once he felt a certain hostility among the passers-by, a grumpy resentment. "I suppose you think we are going to feed you?" said one sly old man, leaning on his stick as he watched the soldier. "Well, I'll have you know, young man, that I am the burgomaster of the village, and I will tolerate no good for nothings here. We have mouths of our own to think of." "Do you hear me, young man?" said this horrid person. The soldier heard all too clearly, if only because the burgomaster was now bellowing at the top of his voice, and the little crowd that had gathered around him was echoing his words with every sign of approval. "Not a bean will I give him." A woman with a wart on her nose was saying, "Not a single peapod." "We are respectable folk here," said another. Soon the whole square was murmuring disagreeably, and the soldier might well have been forgiven if he had felt a little despondent. In fact, he was not disheartened at all, for he was extremely cheerful. He swept off his red cap, made a mock bow to the assembly, winked at the woman with the wart on her nose, and said, "All right, friends, all right. Mr. Burgomaster, sir, don't worry. I won't ask a thing of you. I will just spend the night here, if I may, minding my own business, and in the morning I'll be on my way. I know how you all feel, and I don't blame you for it. We old soldiers, we can be a nuisance sometimes. No, don't you worry. I'll just clean up my cauldron." And he rubbed the inside of the pot in a desultory sort of way with a spotted handkerchief. "Just prepare the crockery and make myself a nice bowl of stone soup." And so saying, he pulled out of his bag 2 large stones. Popping them into the cauldron, he filled it up with water from the village pump, lit a fire of sticks, and settled down upon the ground to wait for the brew to boil. The villagers looked on stupefied. Stone soup? Was the man mad? Just stones and water. What kind of stones? Was he a magician? Who has ever heard of such a dish? Stone soup, ran the murmur around the square. All right then, all right then, said the soldier, stirring the pot with a wooden spoon. "Don't upset yourselves. It's just a little prehistorical recipe I picked up in the foreign presented to me by a saint, in gratitude for my having saved his life When threatened by wild elephants, these two stones have the power to brew for me the most delicious, the most mouth-watering soup that ever a man tasted. Stone soup from China. Ah, and taking a little of water in his spoon, he sipped it with relish. Coming along very nicely, said he while the pigeons watched in baffled silence. This is the very same soup that Alexander drank the night before he stormed the pyramids. Stone soup from China. The soup for heroes. You all look a friendly lot of people. I like your faces. Suppose I make a bit extra for you, hmm? The cauldron is big enough, just a bit more water. That's it. Stoke up the fire, give it a stir, there we are. Then enough for us all to have a bowlful. The citizens were taken aback. Are you trying to tell me, said the burgomaster severely, that all you need to make your soup is just those two stones and a potful of water? That's all, sir, replied the soldier. Nothing more nor less. Tell you what, stone soup is even better, even more breathtakingly wonderful with just a pinch of garlic or if a carrot brings out the flavor. You know, cauliflower is the next best thing. Anybody got a bit of green stuff to throw in? Now, while I make sure the stones are fermenting properly. The pigeons looked at each other sheepishly and suspiciously. Nobody wanted to move first. Nobody wanted to admit his curiosity. Nobody wanted to make a fool of himself, but suddenly a common impulse overcame them all. Well, they said, just a piece or two could not do any harm. A handful of peas, a pair of tomatoes. Stone soup, after all, was something new in their lives, and they might as well make the most of it. One by one, they slipped away and came back with a contribution. Splash went half a turnip. In went a potato. In went cabbage and onions and peas, until the brew was marvelously thick and fragrant, and you could not see those two stones for the bubble and richness of it. Splendid, said the soldier. Oh, what a dinner we are going to have, one and all of us, in this benevolent and hospitable village. It is not every night of the week that you have stone soup in Bohemia. Hmm. Mr. Burgomaster, sir, and thus carrying them along with a joke for an old woman, a dig at a portly merchant, a little factory for the burgomaster, and a flood of anecdotes. The soldier had all the citizens sitting around him, wondering and expectant until at last the soup was ready. Its nourishing vapors were wafting around the square. A pile of bowls had appeared, and they all sat on the paving stones, the soldiers in the middle sipping the stuff with infinite satisfaction. Exquisite, said the burgomaster, who prided himself on knowing about the food. Magnificent, said the portly merchant, who was very fond of eating. Real tasty, I must say, observed the woman with the what on the nose. On the top of the great wall, did you say? Asked one youth with his mouth full. Alexander the Great, do you mean? Queried another. Stone soup, said the last of them, all talking at once. What a miracle, what a marvelous gift from China. And the soldier chuckled to himself as he had his soup comforted. So here we come at the end of the story. Ever in you, if ever you are in distress, use your smart wit to handle the situation.